Hello friends, tonight we're going to take a look at two of my favorite night sights, the Trijicon Bright and Tufts and the Trijicon HDs. Perhaps you're trying to decide between these two varieties of Trijicon, or maybe you're new to night sights, or hell, maybe new to the shooting sports in general and are just trying to figure out this night sight business. So we'll also talk a little bit about the two prevailing varieties of night sights in the market these days. Representing the first type, the sort of classic 3 tritium vials with a square cut in the back, we have the Trijicon Bright and Tufts. Really great. The HDs, on the other hand, are the newer variety. They are huge, they are fancy, and they come in several bright colors like orange, yellow, and green. I chose this lovely orange because I found it to be very fetching, and I have not regretted that decision. They work really well. So what is the purpose of the Bright and Tufts? Well, these sights are very simple with a white ring around the front sight and ample space between the front sight post and the rear notch. I don't think that's going to come through on the video, but just take my word for it. So with that, we can safely say that the Bright and Tufts are intended to be very versatile with the precision necessary to shoot well at longer distances. That space helps you line the sights up more precisely, and for most folks, that gives them better precision. The white ring on the front is more pronounced than the rings around the rear vials. That's said to aid with tracking the front sight through recoil. I agree that it does. I think that definitely helps. So what is the purpose of the HDs and these fancy, new, more modern sights? The HDs are huge, and the front sight is very, very, very bright and easy to see. They still have the 3 tritium vials, though. These sights exist for speed, and they are very fast. The bright paint on the front sight glows in the dark if charged with a light, which we are going to take a look at later, and this paint is very bright for a few minutes and looks super cool. The rear sight is textured, and the tritium vials have no rings, which aids again with tracking that front sight through recoil for most people. There's a U-notch instead of a square notch in the rear, and you just kind of set the giant dot down in the U. It really, really helps with speed. It's great. There isn't as much space on either side of the front sight, but you don't need it because we're aiming for speed here, not for precision. Alrighty, so what do I like about both of these sights, and how do they sort of compare to one another? Well, the Bright and Tufts, they're very simple and very precise. They remind me of the early night sights that I shot in my youth, and I feel very at home with that design. The HDs, on the other hand, are very, very fast, and I acquire the front sight much faster with these than with the Bright and Tufts. But both the Bright and Tufts and the HDs luckily have the same hold, where you just kind of put the tritium vial over the target, and there you go. Always works. The Bright and Tufts are super precise, on the other hand, and I shoot these better than any other sight on the market past 25 yards. So here we have speed, and here we have precision once more. So yeah, past 25 yards, I just feel very confident with these. They just work. And you know, that could just be that I've been shooting them for years, but lots of other people feel that this sort of more classic design does give you that extra precision. I don't necessarily struggle with the HDs past 25 yards, but I have to take my time, and the front sight is so huge that with that Trijicon hold I was talking about, where you're putting the dot over the target is often fully obscured by the front sight. I mean, you could see how that would happen pretty easily. So a lot of times I just kind of am, you know, I look at the target and then I'm just kind of guessing, as it's just all orange in my face after that. The Bright and Tufts, though, let me feel confident at any distance, and the white ring and the front sight require no charging. It's very bright and visible, even in relatively low light. When I turn off the lights, you may even be able to make out the white ring just a little bit. So that'll be kind of interesting to see. However, I cannot understate the usefulness of the orange front sight here. It is amazingly useful, and nor can I understate the coolness of the glowing paint either. And there's no more searching for a microsecond for the front sight when you bring this gun up. You know exactly where it is. It's almost like a reflex at that point. It is instant. And now we are going to take a look at both of these with the lights off. And I'm even going to charge the front sight here for you to see. And you might get to see my cool, super old Surefire light that I've had for a million years that still works great to this very day. So now we're gonna take a look at these with the lights off. First, the Brighton Tufts. I hope you can see those. Yeah, they're pretty bright, right? Yeah. The white ring is not as visible as I had thought it would be. It's probably not as dark in here as it looks, but yeah, those are great. Okay, so now for the HDs, we need to charge them, right? With the help of my handy dandy, super old school Surefire 6P that I've had for years and years and years and years and years. We're gonna charge the front sight. You don't actually have to hold it under the light that long. I just wanna make sure it's really bright for you guys. Really, a second will do it. Okay, now you can see that's very bright. That's really, really bright. Yeah, that's very easy to see in the darkness. That is pretty damn impressive. So, yeah, lovely. Also, this Surefire has lived forever. You can see it's in pretty rough shape, but it's still going strong. These are awesome. And this is one of the really old school ones that's only like 60 lumens, but the light is very pure and clear and delightful. So yeah, buy one of those as well. Okay, so which of these should you choose? The answer very much depends on what you plan to do with the gun. For a target gun, the HDs don't make much sense. They just aren't precise enough unless you are solely shooting for speed, and you may notice your groups open up a little bit. But if you're a precision target shooter, but still want your gun to be a viable defensive option, the Brighton Tufts are kind of the perfect solution. I'm not sure I know of a more precise 3-dot night sight that's still sort of defensive ready. Yeah, whatever, however you'd say that. These are great for defense. Yeah, there are way more precise target sights available, but most of those in turn sort of aren't suitable for defense. So this is kind of the best of all worlds here. But if you're buying a gun solely for defensive purposes, or if you love poking holes in targets as quickly as possible above all else, I would highly recommend the HDs. There is no faster sight, and you will almost feel superhuman when you take these to the range, like you have like bionic eyes or something. And orange is really cool, so buy the orange ones. Now, which of these two do I prefer myself? Not that my opinion really counts for much. You know which of the two you need after watching this far. Well, I really like both. I can't really live without both. I just have to have both. And I chose these two guns to illustrate why. So, for me personally, I shoot the PPQ faster than any other striker-fired gun, and maybe faster than any other gun I own. So for this gun, the HDs were the best choice. It was really the only way I could go. The P99, on the other hand, has an incredible single-action trigger, and I find that my groups with this gun are very small, at least as small as an idiot like me can shoot them. So this gun very much benefits from the precision of the Brighton Tufts. But what if I had to choose? I can only have one, you say. I've got to pick. I've got to make a choice. Well, it depends on the day. Right now, though, I'm HDs all the way because I like orange. The orange is snazzy. It's all about the orange. But next week, it might be the Brighton Tufts. So I'm going to try the Trijicon HD XRs soon to see if those are the best of all worlds. Those are the HDs, but with a skinnier front sight to give you that precision. You'll have that space on either side. So, much like these. Let's take a look at that again. So maybe that'll be the best of all worlds. And in that case, probably all my guns will get those in orange, of course. Yeah, it'll be great. I hope those work. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I really appreciate it. Good night. Oh, hello again. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you tuning in for the night sight video this evening. You know, we all learned a lot and cried a lot and hugged a lot and hopefully made some new friends. So really, thank you for watching. And if you found this content useful or funny or entertaining or just whatever you found it, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button down there, I'd really appreciate it. It very much helps me out. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.